Yo, what's up, guys? If you've been following along on my journey, my channel lately, it took me about a month, but I've been working on this DIY greenhouse. It's my new art studio, and today I thought I would just kind of, go around, show you guys, the final thing, as well as telling you guys exactly how much money I spent on it and how much time I spent on it as well, because I added it all up. I mean, it's not exact, I'm just kind of like ballparking, but I do have a number and I do have the amount of time that I spent on it. So I thought we'd first kind of just go around and I'll just kind of point out how much it costs for things, because I don't know if anybody would ever actually want to like build the same exact build that I did. Since this thing was like completely DIY'd, I'm sure that we're all kind of on the edge of our seat to see how much time and money I spent on doing it. I definitely was questioning how long it would take and how much money it would cost in the beginning. So yeah, here we go. Let's see. So first things first is I wanted to kind of give a POV of the exterior real quick. I'll also get one of the interior, but I mean, this is how it looks. It looks pretty juicy. I still have to cut out the that spray foam, but this is the exterior. Here's how it looks. It's not perfect. Again, completely DIY'd, but it is perfect to me. It looks beautiful. And then let's go on and see the inside as well. This tree, it's so sad. This tree is dying because it's fall, but it's all right. It'll come back next spring. So here's the inside. Little POV action. This is kind of how I have it set up now. A couple of rugs, some music stuff. My little setup over here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Whew, I love this thing so much. Also, I do want to say, before I say any numbers or any time spent, that I'm not done with this thing. There's going to be a lot more work to be done with it. I think that I'm learning every day. There's more gaps and more cracks than I thought there would be. I mean, I already kind of knew. I'm not a professional at this. Like I said, DIY. So there's a lot of gaps and cracks. The rain is coming down now. The snow will be coming soon. It doesn't really snow too much or anything like too crazy here in Portland, Oregon, but it will get a little bit crazy probably in January. So things will be filled definitely by then. But I'm slowly adding on things almost every day, every week at least. So let's start with the very beginning. This thing is just, it's just made out of a bunch of windows, recycled windows. I had some windows of my own, and I also got some other windows, and they're all different sizes. Like these ones are very small. I already know all these right here were windows I already had. The door was something I already had. Over here is one of my bigger windows. I got a lot of the windows for free. Actually, I got them all for free. So I had some windows, and then I just went out and got windows. Now they were free, but the thing I had to pay for was the U-Hauls. I know for a fact these ones, all the little metal ones on top, they were all free. It's just the U-Haul cost $150. So that was definitely a pretty penny, because I think I borrowed it. What happened? Was it between 2 days? I think it was just like an all-day thing. I'm just forgetting if it was multiple days that I went and got U-Hauls or if it was just one. And I think it was all in one day. But I'm forgetting. But yeah, definitely $150 worth of U-Haul, and that included like gas and everything. Yeah, so not too bad, but it was definitely one of the most expensive things that I had to pay for, which is kind of crazy, because the reason why I got it was to get a bunch of free stuff, but they're essentially not really free if you have to pay for a U-Haul. That's why I really, really want a truck, so I can get free stuff for actually free. It's just my car is so tiny, I can't just do it with that. Over here is a bunch of windows I have left over, which I'm thinking about doing something with them. I have an idea. It's brewing, but when I think about it, I'll make a video on it. Over here is all of my wood pile, like leftover wood that I just already had. But I wanted to note that I originally was going to try and use this wood I already have, but instead I actually paid a dude $25 to get a bunch of pallets for the flooring. So that was another expense. So $25 for pallets. And if we look up right here, you can see that I have a tarp up there. That tarp was actually thought of after, and that cost me $40 just for that tarp alone. Definitely worth the money. It's been keeping the water out. It's all really just about the walls that are bringing the water in at this point, but $40 for that tarp. Sorry, I think I'm like going through everything in like a weird way, but this is just how I thought to put it together. So it's kind of random, but at the end, I'll tell you exactly how much money like all together and exactly how much time all together. And I'll tell you the time after I go through all this. But basically, the next step was the paint. So all the paint plus the supplies. I had some of this blue paint, but I went back and bought another like gallon of it. But the paint with all the supplies cost about $75. So yeah, and then this window tint film stuff that I have all around the backside and some over here. This is just like a privacy thing. That cost about $35. They're really cheap. I just had to buy a bunch of them. And I also had some already too, but I didn't have that much. Now, as you can see, I got this, here's the, the palettes, but on top of that is these checkered floors. The checkered floor alone cost me $75. 100% worth it. I think it makes the space look like a million times better. But yeah, that was definitely very expensive as well. Like I said, since the walls were built from just like windows being nailed together, I had to borrow a nail gun from Home Depot. I wish I owned one, honestly, and now it's like a really big goal of mine to own one because they're so valuable. I wish I could have like borrowed it longer, because a good amount of it was just made with like put together with just my my drill, and it just wasn't as powerful as the nail gun. But I spent $75 on the nail gun. And also, I just wanted to add too, I had to buy some wood for this whole thing, so about $150 worth of wood I had to buy myself, and just like the materials, like the screws and whatnot. And then outside of that, wood and nails and whatnot, there's like a miscellaneous, I think that's how you pronounce it, miscellaneous stuff for $50. So that brings the total of the amount of money spent to $675. Now, I do want to just like probably say that it was a little bit more than that. I'm just forgetting some things. Because that sounds a little bit low to me, but yeah, about $675 total. Like, for instance, one of the miscellaneous things though, I was thinking like these guys, that was definitely something I didn't think about. So I'm guessing probably like $100 probably is like up in the air on things I'm forgetting to add, but I'm not gonna add them because that's not what's on here. But something really, really amazing is I actually got sent to me $360 by just like my supporters, my subscribers, people watching and rooting for me sent me that much money. So I really only spent $315 of my own money on this whole build, which I think I'm a little bit nervous to even mention how much money I spent on this whole thing because, again, I'm DIYing this whole thing. I'm not great at building. I'm just doing whatever I think is right. I'm researching some things, but in general, I did this thing all like by my mind, and so I'm embarrassed to say how much money I spent because some people probably think like it looks like you only spent like $100 on it because it looks so bad or something. Like, I guess I'm always like self-conscious about like my work that I do, although it's something that only my eyes are going to be seeing in real life. I mean, I guess my neighbor a little bit and some people I invite over, but it only matters what I think about my build. I mean, I am like filming it all, so I do kind of care about what other people think, although I'm not going to change things for others. I do care about it, and I feel a little self-conscious about it, so that's why I was a little bit nervous to say how much money I spent on this build, if I'm being real. But it's the truth. I spent that much money. It's amazing I got help from my supporters, because if I had to spend the whole $675, that would have been a little bit crazy. Like, that's a lot of money, but still, you know, yeah, that's the number. So I thought now I'd go, Cheddar, you're hurting me. Ow. Go through the amount of time that I spent on it, because I wrote down exactly how much time I spent on everything. Now, again, this is kind of just like the money side too. It's not 100% exactly down to the amount of seconds or whatever. It's kind of just like an estimate, because I went through like my videos that I filmed on it all, and I was like, okay, like I remember it taking this long or that long. So it's not exact, but let me go through the list. So, the list of time spent. For the leveling, which was the worst part of all, and probably one of my biggest regrets out of this whole build, of the way I went about it, is the leveling, because I wish I would have done a better job at leveling it, because I ran into so many issues just from that one thing that I did. But I spent 6 hours on leveling, which I probably realistically should have spent more like 10 or 12 hours on it. If I did, I probably would have done it right, which a lot of things I kind of cut corners because I don't have enough time. I didn't have enough time to like really do this whole project, but I made it work with the time I had. So anyways, all that to say, I spent 6 hours on leveling. I spent 4 hours on just getting the windows with that U-Haul and whatnot. I spent 8 hours digging the holes, and I even got a hole digger, which that's another expense I don't think I added. But that hole digger cost me about, I think it cost $50 to $75 to rent. So there's another expense I totally forgot about. But yeah, it took about 8 hours. There's a lot of breaks involved. I did some by hand. I did some with the hole digger. But yeah, it took 8 hours. The roof took about 2 hours. It was really just putting 2x4s across it, and then plastic on top of that, and then the tarp on top of that. And that took about, yeah, 2 hours. Installing the actual windows, this was a guess, but I really think it took 16 hours. And it was across about a whole week or something, I think, like 5 to 7 days, I believe, of putting these windows on. And yeah, 16 hours sounds about right. Filling the gaps in the cracks is something that, again, I told you is ongoing, but I already spent, I think, around 2 hours on doing that. The paint job, that was across 4 different days. I'm tripping because that was just the interior. The exterior took longer too. I didn't add the exterior, I don't think, but I put down 12 hours for painting, and that sounds accurate for just the inside. I would say if I were to add the outside, maybe more like 16 or 20. Because if I'm adding taping and painting and then coming back and taking the tape off and all that, yeah, I would definitely say about more like 16 to 20, but I put down 12. Adding the privacy window film, probably about 2 hours on that. The floors, definitely 8. It was really just putting down pallets, and then slapping on like some wood, and then putting this stickable tile on top. So yeah, about 8 hours sounds about right for that. So it brings me to a total of 60 hours, but if I were to up it with the paint job on the exterior that I don't think I added, I would say more like 70 hours. And it was across the whole month. So I wish I was able to cram it all into like a few days, but it was just a lot. There was a lot going on. I was filming other videos, doing stuff in the tiny house. I was short on money. You know, this was at the time where I was in the middle of evicting my tenants, and I was not making money from them for a whole month. So I literally was like short on money, like for real. I was scared. But in the end, I made it through. You know, I'm very much like always trying to cut corners, which I feel like a lot of people see as like just fully as a bad thing. I know it's not really a great thing, but I am a corner cutter for sure. And I'm always trying to save time or money, and that gets me into sticky situations like with this greenhouse, like having so many gaps and cracks in it. I think I definitely could have avoided a lot of the struggles and the issues I'm going through right now if I would have taken more time or spent a little bit more money on it. But I honestly don't have any regrets on that, other than the leveling, a little bit of regret. But in general, I don't really have any regret, just because I did what I could with what I had. Like for real, if I had more money, if I had more time, I would have not cut corners. And I really mean that. I feel like a lot of people don't understand when I say I don't have the time or I don't have the money for things. They think I'm just talking. I don't know why, but I got a lot of comments throughout this whole project. Whenever I post a video, people are like, you should have spent more time on this. You should have spent more money on this. I'm like, what if I don't have it? Like, for real, what if I don't have it? And like I said, I really just made this whole thing work on a whim, because it's always been a goal of mine to build this thing, but I was so scared because I was like, I don't have time, I don't have money. But I made it happen with what I had, and luckily it turned into an amazing space. So far I only made art in here one time, which I'm really like feeling kind of down about that. This is just because I'm worried about my rentals right now. I'm worried about my tiny house. I'm worried about all these other things in my life, so I'm not really focusing too much on art. Lately, I've been making more art on my like trips and my camping trips, but now going forward, I'm putting my heart and my soul into my art. I just got my very first custom order since building this whole thing. I took like a break of making customs the whole time I was building it. So I'm really, really, really excited to film that, and just to be in here and just to make the rug in this space, because I never made one in here. So definitely look forward to that. Look forward to a lot more art being made in here, because this is an art space. So that is what I'm going to be doing going forward. Definitely going to be making more updates in here. I would love your guys' suggestion on anything. I really have my ears open to suggestions. This might take me a little bit longer than I would like it to take to do the suggestions that are suggested. But I'm always trying to make this place more secure. I'm terrified of anything happening to this thing during the winter, but that is a possibility. I'm obviously going to do whatever I can do to keep myself and my cat safe in here, because I think I got a couple of comments, quite a few actually, comments saying that, like, oh, like, you know, be safe because, you know, you and Cheddar. And I'm like, I know, I'm trying to be safe. I don't think that that's going to happen, but I know that's a possibility. And if it does happen, like I'm always trying to say to these comments when I see them, is if it does happen, it happens. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to do anything I can with the time and money I have to avoid anything crazy happening, but I am gonna do what I can if that does happen. You know, maybe I can rebuild the whole thing. That's the joy of it all. I can rebuild this whole thing if I wanted to. I can knock it down today and rebuild it when I know I have the time and money to do so. But right now I don't. I think that it's amazing the way that it sits right now. But it definitely got my brain thinking, like, if I do want to rebuild it, how would it look? What would I do differently? So, yeah, but better believe if I do rebuild this thing, it's going to be top notch. It's always going to get better. But again, like if you watch my channel, you know, I'm not planning on staying, you know, in my tiny house in the backyard of my rental property for the rest of my life or anything like that. I'm planning on leaving here within the next year and a half, 2 years. So this thing will be coming down regardless. But it's all just about, like, can I rebuild it before then? You know, who knows? But yeah, that's it, guys. I am curious to know how much you guys were guessing before you saw, you know, this video. How much did you think I spent on it? Like, I'm really curious. I will maybe be a little offended if people say like $100, but really tell me your honest number, and also the amount of time you think, if you also have a guess for that too. I'm curious what people thought that like the amount of money I spent on this thing. Was it the amount of money that I ended up spending? Like, were you right? You know, let me know. But yeah, a lot of updates to come soon in here. Now at this point, it's just making it look pretty and filling in some gaps and cracks and making some art. So yeah, like I said before, look forward to art videos in here, because that's what it was built for. I'm a rug maker, so if you happen to have a custom rug that you want made, let me know. My rates aren't too crazy. It's about $150 for a 2x2 foot rug, and $250 for a 3x3, and $350 for a 4x4, and I would love to make even bigger. So yeah, let me know. It's looking about 3 to 5 weeks of a wait for a rug if you want one. And if you don't want a custom rug, that's okay. I don't have anything up on my Etsy right now. I have an upcoming art fair, but when that's over, I'm going to be posting a ton of rugs on my Etsy. Just little baby rugs for the most part, so they're quick and easy to make and ship. But maybe at some point I'll make bigger rugs for my Etsy as well, because I like to use my own imagination and not do other people's ideas for customs too. But yeah, definitely look forward to those. Hit me up if you want a rug. But yeah, shout out to my members, and shout out to people that helped me create this thing. Shout out to people who sent me money on just, you know, believing in me and my goal and my dream of building this thing. I really, really appreciate it. Even if you didn't send me any money, I really appreciate you watching the entire journey. My goal is to upload a video of a time-lapse, the entire thing that I did, but there is a slight issue. I did realize that if I download a video I already posted on YouTube, because I already deleted all the videos off my phone, but if I download the video, it's looking a little bit grainy, it's looking a little bit blurry. So I don't know if it's 100% possible, or if I think I want to upload that like low quality of a video, even if it's a time lapse. But if there's a way I can figure out, or if you know a way to figure out how to download a video from YouTube and have it be a higher quality video for me to then edit all the time lapses together to upload as one video, let me know, please. I really messed up on not keeping the videos. I just don't have that much storage in my phone like that, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's it, guys. Shout out to my members. Thanks so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Peace.